with it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what causes Joseph to stick around.
There is another clue for this minority reading, though. And again, this clue can be read in different ways, but it's that Matthew has this genealogy, which is absolutely fascinating.
A wand.
Oh. Well. Po-po-po.
And he's got 3 sets of 14 generations, which we might come onto in a bit. But he names 4 women in the genealogy, which is quite exceptional for ancient genealogies. And the one thing that all of these women have in common is that they are all involved in some kind of irregular or illicit relations. And so it's almost though on the minority reading, Matthew is setting up his readers to expect that maybe a good thing can come out of that kind of brokenness.
Wow.
But of course, on the traditional reading, he's just doing this to suggest that, yes, I know that this is weird, but weird things have also happened in the past.
Yeah.
So it's really, really
man.
interesting.
So potentially a cover-up for a sort of adulterous, illegitimate child, or potentially a report of a miraculous event, and it's up to the reader to decide.
Yeah.
The reading list for today, by the way, is the Bible. Speaking of the virgin birth, and I promise we will talk about the Magi and the star that they followed, but since we're on it, you mentioned already this quotation of Isaiah.
So this is a nice video, but I'm really interested about the video by Simo. Magic player who has never seen a Yu-Gi-Oh card reads Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
CGB! First of all, welcome to the channel, and I know everyone here is dying to know, what do you know about the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game?
Nothing. I know nothing.
Excellent!
Where am I? What is going on? Help, get me out of here. Is that what we're doing? Is this a Yu-Gi-Oh video?
For those who don't know, CGB is a Magic the Gathering content creator. Of course, all of his info down in the description, so you can check him out. And we might be doing something on his channel. You never know. But today, of course, we are going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And since you are not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh! At all, we're going to take things easy on you. All we're going to be doing today is showing you cards. I'm actually going to go through showing you every single of the basic card types in Yu-Gi-Oh! And subtypes. We'll get into that a little bit later. And your goal is going to be twofold. You're going to be trying to evaluate if you think, of course, the card is good, and if you think the card was actually banned at any point throughout Yu-Gi-Oh!'s history. How does that sound?
That sounds intimidating, because if a card is banned. So this is the thing, right? They may have seen me on some Rarin videos. I only play Magic, and then Rarin showed me Hearthstone cards, but they just get nerfed. So you're telling me Yu-Gi-Oh cards get banned? Like they get banned a lot, like Magic, like do a lot of cards get banned?
So Yu-Gi-Oh, this is something you probably don't know because you're not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is in fact an eternal format. So I believe that's akin to, like, what is it, Magic Vintage or Legacy, something like that.
Oh God.
So we have no set rotation. Some of the cards I'm going to be showing you are some of the first ones that are printed and may or may not still be legal to this very day, depending on whether or not they're banned. So we do have a ban list that is our form of set rotation, but then we also do have a limited list, which makes it so that you can only play 1 copy of a card, and a semi-limited list, which means you can only play 2 copies, but there's very few that are actually on there. And the max copies of a card you can play in a deck is 3. I believe Magic it's 4.
That sounds right. But hold on.
Okay.
I already have a question.
Sure.
You rotate your formats by banning cards?
Essentially. Yes. We just, after a deck or decks are too powerful or oppressive, they will essentially ban or limit the cards to reduce the deck's consistency or its power. And then they release new cards simultaneously, which ultimately power creep the old cards. And we've basically been in that cycle for 25 years.
25 years.
It's an old game. Not as old as Magic, but it's still an old game.
Okay. People, I'm sure they're already losing their mind. They're like, you can't possibly be this dumb. No, I really didn't know any of this. If in Magic, the only way they rotated decks was by banning them, the players would be insanely pissed. Is that?
Yep.
Like,
anyway, so let's show you your first card.
Jesus, I'm walking into an absolute dumpster fire. All right, let's go.
Let's just say that there's, in this exact moment in time, there is a huge surge of popularity of a retro format, which would essentially be like us wanting to, like, instead of playing like standard, like playing modern, right? There's a format from 2010 that people are really getting into because they may or not be getting fed up with current modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's not for today's video. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that later. Okay, so we're gonna start off really easy for you here. So I'm gonna show you this card. This is Lajin, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp. The purpose of showing you this is to give you the anatomy and breakdown of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, and also to give you some of the fundamental rules. So unlike Magic the Gathering, doesn't have mana. We have every card we can play it basically immediately onto the field. Whether or not those cards have costs, that is something that the card will specify. One of the limits.
It all adds up. It all falls into place.
Ready?
What a waste of time!
Look, the rainbow!
No more lies. Time to come clean. Can't hide the truth. It all falls into place.
Limitations that we have on how many cards we can play in a turn is when it comes to monster cards. So we have what's called a normal summon. So once per turn, you are allowed to normal summon a monster that has 4 or less stars, which you can see here right under the name. This has 4 stars. You're allowed to normal summon that card to your field. This can either be in face-up attack position, which is the vertically oriented way you see this card in the photo, or you set that card in face-down defense position, sort of as like a way to like conceal information from your opponent, which in that case, the defense stat would be applying there. So essentially, the object of the game, just like Magic, is to reduce your opponent's life to 0. In Yu-Gi-Oh, we have 8,000 because, you know, big numbers seem more important. And so that's essentially a monster card. The attribute in the top right, that is essentially like the color. I know Magic has colors. We have 6 different attributes to, you know, sort of put cards into different tribes or different elements, if you will. The Fiend typing down at the bottom, I'm pretty sure that's like something Magic has as well. And then the attack stat and the defense stat, which is how we deal damage in our game. This is a no effect monster. This is just what we call a vanilla, just because it kind of looks vanilla in its coloring. So it's just a guy. It doesn't have any effect. I'm sure Magic has plenty of these cards that don't do anything, but he's just a guy. So what questions do you have here? What questions do you have here?
A genie of the lamp that is at the beck and call of its master. So that's just descriptive text. That's just like,
Correct.
hey, this is what this is. Okay. I'm guessing when you get attacked, if you have a card in defense position, you flip it up and then it's
Correct.
revealed. So there's like a surprise element where you don't know what you're attacking into if you attack.
Correct. And some monsters, which we may or may not see later, when they are flipped up, actually have an effect that triggers specifically when they're flipped up in that way.
Okay, and can they attack the turn they enter? Can they defend the turn after they enter? Summoning Sickness in Magic is what I'm thinking of.
So there's no summoning sickness in Yu-Gi-Oh! So as soon as I play this Lajin, except for the player who goes first isn't allowed to attack on their turn.
Okay.
But after that,
All right.
I can slap down this Lajin and I can hit you for 1,800 if I so wish.
It sounds like so much.
Well, you have 8,000 life points, so, do the math, right? That's like a fifth of your life total, roughly.
That's a lot too. You can play one of these for free on your turn.
Correct.
So that's like playing a 4-power in Magic. That's like a 4-power haste thing for free. And this is just a normal card.
This is just a vanilla normal monster with no effect. Yes. Now, I picked this one specifically because 1,800 attack, I would say, is on average a pretty solid stat line for a normal summonable monster. Even by today's standards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, normal summonable monsters probably will not exceed, I want to say, like 2,000 attack on average. Like, obviously power creep, it's kind of gotten a little bit better in that regard, but even today, this is still like a well-statted normal summon monster, let's say.
I definitely have various other questions, but I think they'll be.
Go ahead. No, that's why I started very simple, so you can get all your questions out of the way before we start getting to some more complicated stuff.
So you said up to 4 stars is free each turn.
Correct.
So if something is a 5-star, how do you play it? Will it say on the card?
So it doesn't, which,
Okay.
You think they would put something like that on the card, but it's in the rule book. It's in the rule book. So we're going to get to this a little bit later, but to give you a preview, if a monster has 5 or 6 stars, you have to sacrifice a monster on your field in order to summon that monster. If it has 7 or more stars, it requires 2 monsters to sacrifice, which means you take them, send them to the graveyard, and you play the new monster in its place.
7 or more requires 2 creatures to be sacrificed.
Correct.
Okay. That's cute. Are there 1 and 2 star monsters? Because my brain has trouble understanding the point of them, and when you get up to 4 for free, can you play 2 monsters in a turn if they both cost 2 things?
No. So the levels matter because there are several cards in the game, especially later on, where it might say something such as level 4 or higher monsters cannot attack. So in that instance, like level 3 and lower would still be able to. So it's just another variable that they can like modify on certain cards to do different things.
Okay, yeah, we should just move. We'll have to just cross various crazy bridges when we get to them.
Well, you have to answer if you think this card is good.
Oh,
or
I
not,
do.
First of all,
I don't know. So you're gonna tell me this is a normal fine monster, and I'm gonna be like it. I'm getting the impression this is like a vanilla version, because like a vanilla creature in Magic, right? I'm getting the impression it's like a vanilla creature because there's no extra text, no extra ability, and there are probably far better things than this. The thing is, based on the life total you told me and the lack of summoning sickness and the fact that you get it for free, all of these things make this look insanely busted from a Magic perspective.
I like your perspective where you're like, this is a 4-power haste creature I can play on turn 1. Like, yeah, that sounds crazy by Magic standards, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. If I'm metagaming, if I'm trying to metagame this, I'm gonna say, nah.
Okay.
You wouldn't show me a busted card first. You would
You're
warm
correct.
me up. Yeah,
You're correct.
Yeah, it's not busted.
I will say by 2002 standards, which is when this game was released in America, this card was actually like, it was actually like good. I don't want to say like anything more than that. It was like, just because there were so few cards in the game, you just needed to play like the biggest guys available, and this was one of them. And so in 2002, you would actually defensively play this card. Aside from like that one era, you would never play this card again. So, but yeah, so you got it correct. This card is not very good, especially by any standard. So, okay. let's up it a bit here. We're going to show you another monster. This time it's an effect monster. So I'm going to want you to go ahead and read this one out.
An effect monster. Oh, good. Witch of the Black Forest for what? What are they called? Level 4 monster. That's how you, yeah, okay.
Yep.
The attack is 1100 and the defense is 1200, and it has spellcaster / effect. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, select a monster with a defense of 1500 or less from your deck, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Okay, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, select a monster from your deck, show it to your opponent, put it to your hand. If the stat line is decent, because let's see, the last stat line you showed me was 1800, so this is attacks for a little bit less, it defends for a little bit more, so I'm guessing a pretty average stat line. The idea is that when it dies, you get another card, but it's not just any card, it's something you can search for. So it can be a card that's really applicable to certain situations or part of a combo. To get this to die, I am guessing you just have to block with it. So if you play it face down and the opponent attacks at all, it's probably not very difficult to get this to die. Because I assume that the combat works like opponents like, I attack you with my 1800, and you have this defender, and you're like, I block with this, I turn it face up, this is its number. It goes to graveyard, I go get thing.
So you're almost correct. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! Combat, the attacker chooses the target.
Oh, okay. A little Hearthstone-y.
It is, yes. It's exactly like Hearthstone in that regard.
That's kind of important.
Now, one thing I will say is that the attack and defense stat, the defense stat is not comparable to health in Hearthstone or Magic. So let's take the Lajin. Let's go back to that. Let's say you have a Lajin and you attack my Witch of the Black Forest. The only stats that matter depend on the position that those two cards are in.
Gotcha.
So if your attack position Lajin with 1800 attack attacks my attack position, Witch of the Black Forest, you will destroy the witch because you have bigger number, and I will take the difference between those two attack stats to my life points. So 1800 minus 11 in this case is 700 damage.
Everybody has trample? Oh my god.
No.
That's what it sounds like.
If my witch were in defense position, so sideways oriented, the defense stat applies. Your Lajin would still destroy my witch, but because the witch was in defense position, I don't take damage.
Okay. I think I see.
You following?
I think
you
so.
following?
I think so. Yeah. Getting this to die is probably.
And you attack my Witch of the Black Forest. So you're almost correct. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! Combat, the attacker chooses the target.
Oh, okay. A little Hearthstone-y.
It is, yes. It's exactly like Hearthstone in that regard.
That's kind of important.
Now, one thing I will say is that the attack and defense stat, the defense stat is not comparable to health in Hearthstone or Magic. So let's take the Lajin. Let's go back to that. Let's say you have a Lajin and you attack my Witch of the Black Forest. The only stats that matter depend on the position that those two cards are in.
Gotcha.
So if your attack position Lajin with 1800 attack attacks my...
The hero threw down his sword and spoke with open palms. I come from beyond the stars. Please permit me to help.
My attack position, Witch of the Black Forest, you will destroy the witch because you cards are in.
Gotcha.
So if your attack position Lajin with 1800 attack attacks my attack position, Witch of the Black Forest, you will destroy the witch because you have bigger number, and I will take the difference between those two attack stats to my life points. So 1800 minus 11 in this case is 700 damage.
Everybody has trample? Oh my god.
No.
That's what it sounds like.
If my witch were in defense position, so sideways oriented, the defense stat applies. Your Lajin would still destroy my witch, but because the witch was in defense position, I don't take damage.
Okay. I think I see.
You following?
I think
you
so.
following?
I think so. Yeah. Getting this to die is probably not difficult at all then. because they don't have summoning sickness, and you just put this down and you attack like a bigger creature, a bigger monster, and this thing dies, and then you go get what you want. And that's really good. This seems like really, really good, especially if you said that this is an eternal format, so there are going to be
This is an eternal format.
There are going to be cards that probably exist. There are monsters that probably exist that fit the requirement, that hose certain strategies or just pull a combo. So this is busted. Right? You can only play one a turn. God, if it's the perfect one, if you just play this and set up the perfect card, this has to be good. This has to be good. This is a good card, right? This is good.
You tell me. You're
This
telling
card
us.
is good. I don't know what it's fetching, but it's good. There's got to.
Okay.
It's an eternal format. There's got to be a busted card to fetch.
Well, you already know 2 cards that it can fetch that I've shown you thus far.
Yeah, I'm not fetching those. I mean, it can fetch itself. It can fetch another copy of itself, if nothing else. Yeah, this card. I'm supposed to answer if I think it was banned.
Yeah, so you think it's good. That's step 1. Do you think this was ever banned?
Could be. You would say just ban the busted card it fetches, but I guess I don't know much about the Yu-Gi-Oh ban philosophy. But in Magic, Wizards of the Coast would pull some stuff, all right? They'd be like, well, we can't ban that card. People love that card. We'll just ban the card that makes it more redundant, which is this card that finds it all the time. So this card could have been banned. I'm going to say no, though. I mean, I'm very low on context. I'm going to say that they just banned the other busted cards instead. But so I'm going to say good card, not banned.
Okay, final answer.
Yes.
You were so close. You're so close. You're correct. It is a good card, but unfortunately, this card has been banned.
They are.
This card was actually, in fact, this card actually, in fact, was so good that it was banned for so long that they gave it an errata several years later. I'm talking 10 years later, and they made it so that the effect was infinitely worse, where you're able to only use the effect of it once per turn, because it doesn't say you can't use it once per turn. And that may be some foresight into potentially abusable effects later on. Also, whatever card you search off of the Witch, you're not allowed to play it for the remainder of that turn. So that was how they errated it. It actually, I think, maybe saw Fringe play when it was errated, but very little. But being able to tutor essentially any monster in the game, very good effect, I hear. Very good effect.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the 1500, key thing there. The 1500 is virtually any monster in the game, is what you just kind of alluded to. It gets a lot of things.
I don't want to say virtually anything in the game, but it is a lot. Yeah, a lot of things in the game. A lot of things in the game. And as we go on, you'll probably start to understand why that is, because I may or may not have picked cards that would match that description. Okay, so you've gotten your feet wet with monster cards. So now I'm going to show you a spell card. So spell cards are akin to magic sorceries, and these are sort of broken up into different categories, which we'll get into later on. But I'm going to start by showing you just what is a normal spell card, and maybe one of the most iconic spell cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the Pot of Greed, one of the simplest cards ever. How spell cards work, before you give this a read here, you can play any number of spell cards during your turn, and that's just how it works. You're allowed to, you only have that one normal summon, but you can play as many spells as you want. So give it a read.
This font size, who is this for? This has to be a font size for children. Like, look at how small this font is.
Trust me, you're gonna be loving that the font's that small when we get to some of the more complicated cards that have paragraphs of text.
I have a feeling it's all about text, but like they could scale the font. Oh my god! Like, what are they trying to do? I'm too old for this. I can't see that. I'm like zooming in on. I have to open in browser and like double my Chrome. This is insane. My eyes hurt already. All right. I love this card.
That's it.
This card is amazing.
It's great, isn't it? It's great.
How do you play it?
During your turn, you're allowed to play as many spell cards as you want at sorcery speed.
What, for free? You just give away draw 2 cards from your deck for free? What is going on? This would be insta-banned in Magic. This would be the best card in Magic ever. 0 mana, draw 2 cards. This would be... Oh my god, I gotta play Yu-Gi-Oh! I love this. I love drawing cards. What? Okay, you can have up to 3 of them in a deck. How big is the deck?
40 cards.
Why would you not just play 3 of these in every deck?
I don't know. You tell me.
I can't think of a good reason. I can't think of a good reason. There's no way this is just legal. That this is just a card in your game. This is the most banned card I've ever seen. This is absolutely stupid. No. Okay. Think. If the game really is just about turning resources into nonsense, I'm like, man, it's hard because I don't know very much, but it seems like it's very fast paced and a lot happens. I mean, this does add a certain kind of like RNG element, which is exciting. In Magic,
Sure,
this wouldn't be
let's call it that.
tolerated because it's just automatically in every deck. There's no restriction from putting 3 of these in every deck. There's no class like in Hearthstone. There's no color like in Magic. You could start every deck you want with 3 of these if it's legal, right?
Doesn't say otherwise.
So my Magic brain says that's impossible, that this is so obvious. The only way that this isn't banned is if you make a card that says draw 3. This has to be the most banned spell ever. No, banned. This card is busted and it's banned. This card is just a lock. Why wouldn't you play it? And if you say because there's better cards, I'm going to throw my freaking drink at the wall. Anyway, final answer. That I'm locked in. I'm not moving off this hill.
You ready for me to blow your mind?
Oh, God.
Yeah, this card's banned, 100%.
Oh, my God.
So, okay, for context, this is this card is from like the first set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. It was legal for a time. Now, I will say one thing that's important is that while this was not auto-banned, because obviously I imagine Magic is similar, where cards that were printed in like the first few sets probably have not stood up to the test of time and have probably been banned as a result. Pot of Greed is one of those cards for us. Now, we have our limitation list, and Pot of Greed is a card that was limited to 1 very quickly for the reason you said, where you can't just play 3 of this. You're allowed to play 1, which 1 is arguably still insane, considering there's no cost to it. Eventually, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Released its first ever ban list, because we didn't get banned cards till a few years into the game, they just limited a bunch of cards to 1. Pot of Greed was one of the first cards banned and has not left the ban list since in 20 years. So
thank you.
Good job.
I was ready to just call this complete nonsense insanity and move on. I oh my God.
This is the face of Yu-Gi-Oh! You may see some cards, maybe not necessarily in this video, but if we do future videos, that are inspired by Pot of Greed in some ways. And I will say one thing that's very different about Yu-Gi-Oh! Compared to a game like Magic or Hearthstone, from what I understand, since we don't have a mana system or a resource system, the cards themselves in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are the resource. And so card draw is very scarce, and just getting something as simple as drawing 1 or 2 cards for 1 is incredibly uncommon. So the value of having a single additional card or a card that gets you positive card advantage is at a premium in this game compared to basically any other game that exists, for context. And that only got worse over time as Yu-Gi-Oh! Has evolved.
Very interesting. Like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to see me freak out in a future video.
Oh, I think after your reaction to Pot of Greed, I'm pretty sure you're going to be definitely welcomed back. Okay, so you've seen monsters, you've seen spells. We're going to finish the trifecta here. I'm going to show you a trap card. So how a trap card works, set the card face down to your field. After the turn you set that card, you are allowed to activate it at instant speed in response to your opponent's plays, or if they pass priority to you, you can activate it at any point aside from the turn you set it face down. Some of these cards have requirements to be activated, others are just you can activate it whenever, and that typically is specified on the card. Does that make sense?
What's the cost to play them? Anything?
The card.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we don't have costs. I'll get used to it. I just have to keep asking.
Like I said, so some cards will have costs, and it'll say in the card if it does have a cost. So
fuck this, dude. I'm getting my glasses. Here we go. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, now you know for future videos you need your glasses.
Mirror Force is a trap card, and it says you can only activate this card when your opponent's monster declares an attack and it says destroy all attack position monsters on your opponent's side of the field. What? All of them? Okay. I need a little context about the shape of a turn.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, it has phases similar to Magic. So the phases go as such. There's the draw phase, you draw a card. The standby phase, which is similar to Magic's upkeep, I believe, but it is just a phase where some things may or may not happen. Most of the time it gets skipped over. Then there's main phase 1, where you can normal summon or set your monsters, activate spells, or set trap cards. The battle phase, which is where you declare your attacks. The second main phase, where you can do the same things as the first main phase. And then the end phase, and then the turn passes to the other player.
Wow. So monsters all have virtual haste. They can attack the turn they come down, but you don't always want to play them in the first main. Interesting.
Correct. So, and to clarify, if you normal summon a monster in your first main phase, you cannot get an extra normal summon in the second main phase. However, if you don't normal summon in the first main phase, you can still normal summon in the second main phase.
In Magic, I would say this card is pretty darn insane. It's just like, especially against haste powered decks, like this is a very powerful card. In Magic, this would be like instant speed, destroy all attacking creatures or something like that, which is wild. But it's even better than that in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think, because attack position is like a yes or no, like binary 1 or 0 question. So it can destroy things. Yeah, it just, if they played in that position, it destroys things, which is kind of absolutely wild. However, like, this could be stupid. I'm gonna say something that could be stupid.
Okay, I'm in.
I think this is actually a balancing tactic for Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because hear me out. So because all monsters can attack the turn they come down, and because this card exists, goes from being a smash game that a 2-year-old could play to, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. You know, it just, the existence of this card offers a reason not to play the game the way that you think you obviously should.
Sure, there's interaction.
Yeah. And that's good for games. So like I have a feeling that this is supposed to look insane, but it's probably not as insane as I think it is. It's probably an important element of the game, and maybe to the point that it's not even that bad. It might not even be that played, you know, because you want people to play around it a little, but if you always have it, then they play around it and it's not as good. It's the mind game, right? God, I don't want to call it bad. The fact that people can play around it doesn't mean they always will, but this strikes me as a card that scales with talent. Like, this might be great at the card store and bad at the tournament. I'm just gonna say it's a good card. It's a good card, and it didn't get banned.
Final answer.
Yes.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close.
This time.
It is in fact a good card. It's a great card. It's a fantastic card.
It got banned?
It has been banned before. Now, I will say, by modern Yu-Gi-Oh standards, this card is at 3 and is perfectly fine. But that is 20 years later. This card has kind of hopped all over the place. It's been limited for quite some time as well in the early days, so there's only a singular copy. And like you said, it did create that mind game dynamic of, oh, if you can like look in their graveyard, you can see like, if they have that Mirror Force and I have 3 attack position monsters, I'm just going to get 3 for 1 and I'm going to hate myself. So there are the mind games that this card creates. And while there are other board wipes in Yu-Gi-Oh, I would say this is probably one of the most iconic. This was used in the show. This is a card that as kids, people know that just getting absolutely demolished by this card. It's a very strong card, especially by like old Yu-Gi-Oh standards. So much so that it did get eventually banned, then re-limited, then re-banned. They kind of didn't really know what to do with it in the early days. But now by today's standards, this card's at 3 and it's fine.
Why ban it? Let them get blown out. Let them feel bad about themselves. Let them hate themselves. They need to learn. Teach the children. That's my approach.
That's kind of how we feel when I alluded to that popular retro format that's seeing a lot of resurgence lately. Mirror Force is legal in that format. It's at 1 copy, and it's a very skillful card that people have to decide whether or not they want to lose the game, because if they attack into the Mirror Force, they just lose. I agree with you. I think it's actually like very healthy for older style of Yu-Gi-Oh in that regard. So I don't think it was ever really justified in being banned personally. Other people might have different takes on that, but I think it being at 1 was probably totally okay. 3 3 for old Yu-Gi-Oh might have been too much, to be fair. But I think at 1 it would have been okay. I think at 1 it would have been okay.
Don't placate the children who just want to attack without thinking. Punish them. Teach them lessons. Anyway, that's me. That's old man CGB.
So we finished the trifecta. So you've seen monsters, spells, and traps. Those are the 3 main card types for Yu-Gi-Oh. So now we're going to start getting a little bit more in depth. The cards I'm going to show you are still pretty simple for what it's worth. But I mentioned how with monsters, you're allowed 1 normal summon per turn, which you might think, okay, that's pretty slow in terms of, you know, building up the pace of a game. You are also allowed what's called a special summon. So a special summon is essentially anything that is not your 1 normal summon per turn. And you're allowed to special summon infinite number of times during your turn. There's no restriction. The only restriction
Energy charge, please. And 10%. That's really useful.
is if the card says something about you not being able to special summon in some way. Okay.
Okay.
So this is one of the most popular special summon type cards. And so let me see what you think about this one.
Cyber Dragon, a level 5 monster. If there is a monster on your opponent's side of the field and there are no monsters on your side of the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, pretty simple requirement. The attack is 2100, the defense is 1600.
Now, because it is level 5, you might think you'd still have to tribute to summon this. That is irrelevant. When it comes to special summoning, unless it says on the card, the level is irrelevant for a special summon.
I guess I don't know. Most monsters level 4 or below? Is a level 5 monster pretty unusual?
No, they can go up to level 12.
Okay. So this is about mid.
Yeah, it's again, you're special summoning it. You can tribute summon it. You don't have to special summon it, although that's kind of like the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is in terms of like if you're looking at a level to attack ratio, this is in like the middle ground. Yes. So what are your first thoughts with this?
I think it's an interesting way of evening out the disadvantage of going second. That you because you can play this and then you can normal summon something that's level 4 or less, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So it kind of flips the table on that kind of thing. I like cards like that quite a bit. Getting any kind of a decent sized attacker for free is pretty good. And if getting the special summon, you are playing it after the first turn, which means it can attack the turn it comes down. That's got to be something. That's got to be pretty good. It's probably not hard to create the situation where you have no monsters, since you can attack your opponent's monsters with your monsters. And I'm sure that there's a decent amount of like opponents want to kill your monsters. That's got to be a thing. So getting this down, being able to cast this for free shouldn't be insanely hard. It should be pretty easy. So here we are talking about whether or not a free 2100 attacker, 1600 defender is good. I guess you have to play it in attack position. Do you have to play it in attack position?
No. So you actually are, when you special summon, you get to, unless the card says otherwise, you get to pick if it's either face up attack or face up defense.
Face up.
So you
defense.
could hypothetically special summon this in face up defense.
Because I was going to say, you can't play it face down and just be like, I get to play this now for free. Take my word for it. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you could try. You could try to cheat, but I mean, I don't know how well.
I got it. Worked at my card store. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is this good? It seems good. Like in Magic, this is very good. In Magic, you would play this.
What will this equate to in Magic? Let's see. This has a quarter of your life points in terms of attack. So this would be a 5 cost, or I'm sorry, this would be a 5 damage haste that you can play for 0 mana if your opponent has a creature and you don't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and aside from that,
on turn 1,
like various ways to sacrifice your creatures for benefit, just throw them into opponent's creatures. Like, on turn 1, this would be absolutely insane. You're gonna tell me this is just a fine card, or that nobody plays it or something, but it looks busted to me. Did it have to be banned? Let me ask this. Is this effect incredibly unique? Is this like the only thing you can play for free when your opponent meets a requirement?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I'm gonna guess this card not busted, not banned.
Final answer.
Yes.
Cyber Dragon is incredibly good. It's an incredibly solid card for old Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you mentioned, and some of the stat lines of these first monsters I've showed you were intentional to sort of give you some insight into how powerful this card was when it was released, because there had never been a card that had done this. This card was released, I want to say, 4 years into Yu-Gi-Oh's lifespan. And similar to what you said, it was a great way to equalize going second. Going first is always a huge advantage in any card game. And being that you could drop a monster for free that could essentially contest any monster that's currently on the field is nuts. And there's some other, synergies you might see later for why this card would also be good. As Yu-Gi-Oh! Aged, and as we got more monsters that did special summon, because ironically, special summoning became less special as the game aged because it became the norm, so we should have flipped the terms. But anyway, aside from just bringing itself out onto the field, it didn't really do much else besides that. And so for older Yu-Gi-Oh! Fantastic card. For newer Yu-Gi-Oh! There is a Cyber Dragon deck that plays other Cyber Dragons that have different names. It's good for that one particular deck because you need to play Cyber Dragon in that deck. But that is it. You will basically never see this card played in any other capacity. And it was never banned. I think it was limited at one point. So you got that part correct.
Okay.
So congratulations.
Yeah, ching. We're on it. I understand the game perfectly. Continue.
Exactly. All right, let's see you perfect knowledge of this game with this card. So we talked about normal summoning, we talked about special summoning, and we got into tribute summoning a little bit. As I said with tribute summoning, if a monster has 5 or 6 stars, it requires 1 monster to be sacrificed in order to play it to the field. And that costs your normal summon in order to do that. So it's kind of like an enhanced normal summon, if you will. So let me know what you think about this card.
An enhanced normal summon. Okay. This is so Jinzo is a level 6 monster with 2400 attack and 1500 defense. It says, as long as this card remains face up on the field, trap cards cannot be activated. The effects of all face up trap cards are negated. Hold on. Let me look at the last trap card. You can only activate, destroy all. Does this stay on the field? The trap card?
No. So in the instance of if you're looking at Mirror Force is a normal trap. So when you would activate it, it will, after its effect resolves, it goes to the graveyard.
So what are these traps that the effects of all face-up trap cards are negated? I guess that can be when it's turned face-up.
So we will get to them a little bit later. There are some traps that are continuous. So they kind of, in Magic speak, they're basically like enchantments. So they stay on the field, but they can be used at instant speed to sort of like surprise your opponent. So that would be what that's referring to in the last line of text.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like there might be some weird timing stuff I'm trying to get. As long as this remains face up on the field. So if you play it face down, no, in the defense position, when do you turn it face up? When the opponent attacks it?
Mirror Force, or what are you referring to?
Jinzo. If you play a monster in the defense position, it's face down, yeah?
Uh-huh.
When do you turn it face up?
So if you set a monster face down, you are, during your next turn, allowed to flip that monster face up. That doesn't count as your normal summon or anything. That's just you're allowed to, if you want to, flip that monster.
You can change positions. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
You can, any monster once per turn can go from attack position to defense position or vice versa, as long as it wasn't summoned on that turn. That's sort of like you're blocking, if you will.
Sure.
But Jinzo, a tribute summon, also is like a normal summon where it can either be face up attack or you can tribute set it into face down defense. Not that you'd really want to do that with this card.
So this card, there's a lot of context I'm sure I'm struggling with. I will say that just reading it negates a third of the game. It shuts down a third of the game.
True.
Now it does, if I'm understanding the effect correctly, it also affects your trap cards.
Correct.
It's your deck building, so you can build in such a way that you're not trapping very often. It does strike me, if you go up against a deck that's reliant on trap cards, I don't know if these even exist, but it's a third of the game. So I'm guessing there's like trap control decks or something out there. And I'm thinking of like earlier when we were looking at the Witch of the Black Forest who got banned. And this is a card that the Witch could find that says your whole trap deck is trash. GG's, noob. Nice. Oh my goodness.
You're putting it together, and you've seen Mirror Force.
Yeah.
You've seen what trap cards are capable.
Yeah, they're very powerful, right? So if you're relying on them to execute a strategy, this card is the middle finger to that. You know, that's got to be good. There's a lot of context I'm missing, but I am gonna say it's an eternal format. It's expensive. It's harder to cast, but this is an eternal format. That means every trap card, which is a third of the game, printed every single year, trying to be exciting in Yu-Gi-Oh! You do not want your spoiler season to be like, here's the coolest trap card ever invented, and the replies on Reddit or whatever to all be like, loses to Jinzo. So this card has the makings of a card that would get banned for a variety of reasons, including just completely negating a card category. So I am going to say at some point this card, Jinzo, was banned.
And you think it's good?
Oh, it has to be good to be.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Just clarifying.
No.
I'm
You know what? That is a good question.
Not every banned card has been good, and I think you and I both know that from our respective games.
That is a damn legit question. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. I'm going to say it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, you're so close to it so far. You're correct. You are correct. Jinzo is good. Jinzo, in fact, is incredible. It's a fantastic card. For, like you said, it negates a third of the cards in the game. Jinzo, over time, as the game has aged, and it's going to be funny if we do a few of these videos and you look back and you start to learn more about the game and see how it progresses. Over time, Jinzo is just a card that has just become less and less useful because there were just more cards to either where Jinzo just didn't matter because trap cards weren't at the forefront of the game, let's say, or Jinzo was just almost too slow or didn't do enough that it wasn't justified in being played. Now, don't get me wrong, it was still insane. It still saw tons of play for the first several years of the game. Funny enough, Jinzo will every now and then, and I mean this very rarely, every now and then might see side deck play because of what you said about it shutting off a third of the game. So if there happens to be like in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That is very trap focused, Jinzo will see play in the side deck to combat that one strategy. And it has happened. It's very funny because this old card just comes out of nowhere and just hoses people. So it's still good in that regard. Never got banned though.
Okay.
Similar to the Cyber Dragon and some of the other cards, it got limited to one and was basically a one of that once it hit the field, cool. If it got dealt with, whatever. But you had cards like Witch of the Black Forest to search it, so it's like you had effectively multiple copies while you only had one copy of it, if you will.
We met recently. I want you to know, if in a future video you just show me a card that's like exactly like this, but it's just 2 mana cheaper, I'm gonna be pissed.
We'll get there.
You should have just showed me that one first. Okay. Anyway,
that's fair. That's fair.
Anyway,
and the cost of Jinzo is sort of a downside. Like you do have to tribute some of it.
It is.
And if you want to go. If you want to go based off costs, everything I've showed you, you get to play for free. This is maybe one of the first cards you need to get rid of one of your resources in order to play it to the field. So that is a cost in a sense.
Well, but it's a cost.
Yeah. In quotes.
Like creatures are just like,
in quotes.
Yeah. Monsters are just free. Like everything's free so far. That's just free. That is free. If everything's free, okay. Yeah, it's great.
All right, so we'll take a break from the monsters. We're going to show you some of the subtypes of spell cards now. So there's a few of these. The first one, I kind of mentioned this before. This is a continuous spell. So to refresh your memory, spell cards on your turn at sorcery speed can be played at any point, and as many as you want. So this is the spell card I'm going to have you read.
Toll. Each player must pay 500 life points to declare an attack.
Now, up in the top right corner, you might see that there's an infinity symbol. That's to denote that it's a continuous spell. So when you would play Toll, it'll stay on the field until it gets removed by another card. Sometimes the card can remove itself through certain mechanisms. But most of the time you play it, it stays there.
A spell stays on the field?
Yes, so this is, like I said, I think this might be like an enchantment in Magic the Gathering. It just stays
I'm looking back at Pot of Greed and it didn't have us. And you're saying next to where it says spell card, that symbol is what denotes that it stays on the field? Each player must pay 500 life points to declare an attack. Is that an attack? Sounds like it can have as many creatures involved as you like, or as many monsters involved as you like. 500 per monster?
It is 500 per monster. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you attack one monster at a time, similar to Hearthstone. I believe in Magic, you pick all your attackers at once, right? And they just go like, they swing all together, kind of.
Yeah.
If you want to do the math, it's 16 active, technically 15 activations, because the 16th one would kill you.
15 activations before you die. 15 attacks before you die. per attacker.
Because 15 times 5 is 75. Yeah.
And a very baseline generic monster was like 4 power and magic. It was, what was it? Like 1800. I think the only way this card is good is, well, 2 ways. Way number 1, if there are very easy ways to gain a ton of health that don't absolutely suck in a vacuum. And if there are very easy ways to duplicate this effect so that it triggers like 5 or 6 times with each attack.
Now, I will say, if you have multiple tolls out on the field, each of those will trigger independently per attack. So 1 attack now costs 1,000 instead of 500.
How many cards do you start a game of Yu-Gi-Oh with?
5 cards.
5 cards. And you draw 1 a turn by default.
Correct. Player going first does not draw a card.
All right. Okay. Card game knowledge. This card is annoying. I'm sure that people over time have been like, what? Why? No, I hate this. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's any good.
Okay.
So
why do you think
the
that?
Numbers? It doesn't add up to me. If you have 5 cards, right? If you have 5 cards and you're using one of them to put this down, and the opponent, one of their cards is an average power monster, that opponent seems to me like they're just gonna pay the life and attack anyway. Like, it seems like the numbers, the stats on the monster are way better than the 500 life points spent. Being down a card for that seems bad. In Magic, I would be afraid of going down a card to play a card like this, because the opportunity cost is another monster, which could be attacking the opponent's life total and be a totally different type of presence. It gives you more options as a card, a monster does, right? You can attack the opponent's things, you can attack their face. Yeah, and it seems like the stats of the monsters and the amount of life being paid here just isn't that much. Like, we're looking at like what, 1.5, 1 or 2 life in Magic terms, whether it's a 20 life total, and I wouldn't play that card. And the value of a card seems higher than that, and it's each player. So you have to pay it too.
Let's say you attack with your monster, and I have Toll face up. You pay your 500. And now, in response to you attacking, I flip Mirror Force, and I'm able to destroy all your monsters. And now you're back at square one. Does that change your thinking at all?
No, because did it matter that you paid the life or not? Like, they're a little bit lower on life, but like, you're not pressuring them. You played a trap card and you played the spell card. Like, their life total will eventually matter. I don't know what a win con is for a control type deck, but I'm sure it doesn't matter whether they're 500 life points lower or not. I can see that could be frustrating. Like a prison strategy, you could play this in ways that trap cards that disrupt their attack, and eventually their life total gets so low that they can't attack you. And it's like, I did it. I'm the most annoying player in the world. I'm all about that. I really am. But that sounds like, comparing to other card games, taking what I've learned playing Control in other card games, that sounds more like a meme strategy than a real strategy. And maybe I'm going to get my mind blown. I'm going to call this card bad.
Final answer.
Yes.
Well, you ready for your mind to be blown?
No.
Toll is used in several burn strategies from the old days, and it sucked. It's bad.
Okay. Okay, God. Okay.
Yeah, it was back in the old days. This was a card. They were very down bad for cards to like stall the game out and to like try to burn the opponent. And this was for the very first era of Yu-Gi-Oh! This card was maybe defensible, but after like the first set was released or the second set, they're like, okay, we can stop playing this garbage. There's better cards now. So yes, correct. This was bait. I just wanted to show you how a continuous spell works, and you figured it out. So you got me. You got me.
Yes. I got one. I'm a champion.
Okay.
You've got nothing. Bring it on.
We're gonna show you another spell card. This is what we call an equip spell. I think this is probably most like an aura enchantment. So you can play this on either one of your own monsters or one of your opponent's monsters. Sometimes it may specify which one you have to do. If it doesn't specify, it can be either or. So this is an equip spell. You can tell by the cross-shaped icon.
Equip spell. Okay. Snatch Steal. Take control of a monster on your opponent's side of the field that is equipped with this card. Increase your opponent's life points by 1,000 points during each of his or her standby phases. This is free? I can't believe I have to keep asking. This is free?
Does it?
The control of a monster from outside the field. It is equipped.
Does it say it's not?
Damn it. Oh my god. Okay. Can the monster attack the turn you snatch steal it?
Does it say it can't?
God damn it. What is your game? What the hell? How is this fine? This card is good. This card is good. The 1,000 life points, whatever. If the like you steal even an average statted monster, you offset that very well. Like it really doesn't matter. I don't think it matters at all. This card is just insane. God, why would you run something that destroyed your opponent's stuff when you can just take it and beat them to hell with it?
Exactly.
How common or easy is it to remove a spell card, an equipped spell card? Are there cards that make it easy to blow this up and get your thing back?
Yes.
Okay.
But then that kind of begs the question: just because a card has answers, does that necessarily mean it's bad?
Well, here's the thing: this card's better than I think it is. Like in Magic, just taking their thing and punching them with it, or punching their creature, their monster with the thing you stole, is busted. That's already the best removal spell of all time, and it's free. It's even better in this because your special summons require you to sacrifice stuff. So if you're like the opponent takes their turn 1 and they play one monster, and you take your turn 1 and you snatch steal that thing and sack it and play a level 6 or level 7 or higher, right? You special summon something like.
You're putting it together.
That's insane. That's insane.
Isn't this game great? Isn't this game fun?
It sounds infuriating. It sounds absolutely infuriating. Why even play? What if I just pass and do nothing on turn 1 out of the fear of the absolute? It's only 40 cards, and you're telling me you could have 3 of these? Okay.
Your
first card is useless.
Now let me pitch this to you in a different way. Isn't this slightly more fun and interesting than turn 1 playing a land and passing?
You know, you're the type of person that just doesn't even want to get to know somebody. You just want to get right to the business. You don't say hello, how are you? You don't care about.
I'm offering a different perspective. Because to be fair, if we're rivaling our card games, people might not like that slow accumulation of resources before something actually happens.
Dude.
Where with our game, you can just go pedal to the metal, turn it up to 11, and do stuff like you just said on the first turn. And
these are people.
Like if you're just
these people don't understand the vibe of a warm coffee or a nice drink. They just want to chug their energy drink and go to war.
They're just the Zoomers.
They're
right?
the ones,
it's like TikTok mentality.
They complain about the 5-second loading screen on a video game. All right, this is insane. No, none of this is fine. Y'all are wild. Y'all gotta like slow down and enjoy life.
Yeah,
you're just out there snatching, stealing. Oh my goodness. There is no way I can't imagine this card as a 3 of staying legal in your game. Like maybe there's a is this what the audience is here for? Maybe this is just the vibe. God, but I don't think so. Oh man, I really don't know on this one because everything says this is busted and everything for me says no, I want none of this. But maybe it is something you get used to. In Magic, it's absolutely wild. I
was gonna say, is it broken if every single card is batshit crazy like you've seen so far?
It's from 1996. There is no way this card stayed legal as a 3 of in a 40 card deck for the entirety of this game. There is no way. This card is busted. I will die on the hill that it's good. Was it banned? That is really tough. But I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say at some point this got banned, right? Because you need a break from this at some point, right?
Final answer.
Yeah, final answer.
Oh, I'm gonna blow your mind with this one.
You keep saying that.
So this time I'm actually going to, though. I'm not messing with you. So Snatch Steal is a very interesting card for several reasons. as you said, it is completely busted and was probably something they never should have made. So you are correct. You are correct. This card is great and was banned at some point. Interestingly enough. But that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the story. Interestingly enough, I believe it was in when was it? 2014, 2015, 2016, around that time. Someone at Konami thought it would be a fun idea, a fun prank, to say, let's unban this. Let's put it to 1 copy. Let's see what happens. People were so pissed that this card existed, and this card literally stole many games. It got banned again, the very next ban list, because it was so funny seeing how many people got pissed off that this card got reintroduced into the game. Now, fast forward another 8 to 10 years. Snatch Steal is once again limited to 1. And if this is the best part, Master Duel, which is our online client, it is at 3 copies in Master Duel right now.
What?
And it's fine.
Okay.
And it's fine.
I don't know much about Master Duel other than I think I saw like a Twitch stream or two when it first came out, and they were like, you know, there's now an online like Magic Arena type thing for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like,
yes.
What percentage would you say of the Yu-Gi-Oh collection is on Master Duel in that format?
Most of it, like 90. There are only a few sets behind the actual
But it
game.
is considered a different format?
It gets in the weeds because our ban list, we're considered the TCG. The Asian territories are considered the OCG. We have 2 separate ban lists because for many reasons, Asia gets sets before we do, so they have cards legal before we even have access to them. And also, they just have some cards that are legal, and some of those cards for us might not be legal, for instance, for one reason or another. They just get to Konami Japan and Konami America like work in different lanes. Now, Master Duel is sort of like a hybrid of the two, where it's its own format again, because the ban list for Master Duel is not the OCG ban list, nor is it the TCG ban list. It's kind of like in the middle. So I say it's its own format because it's still several sets behind the actual trading card game, and it has its own ban list. So people kind of consider it to be its own separate format. But to be fair, most of what's good in the TCG and the OCG is also good in Master Duel. You're just changing ratios on cards sometimes.
So this is legal on the online client as a 3-of.
At 3 copies. Yep.
And how long has that been that way?
They actually, I think, recently just moved it to 3.
Okay.
Maybe within the past couple months.
I actually find this completely acceptable. I do.
Why do I not believe you?
On Magic Arena, they created a format called Timeless, where everything is legal.
Interesting.
Yep, everything is legal. And there's a small restricted list of a few cards that you're allowed 1 copy instead of 4. The Timeless format, as Magic, it's not like... I think there'll be competitive tournaments with it at some point, but so far I don't believe there have been any competitive tournaments in Timeless. It's a format there to play your cards, and as a designer at Wizards told me, everything is busted, so somehow everything is fine.
That's the Yu-Gi-Oh philosophy if I've ever heard.
Yeah, there you go. So I believe it. I believe it. Timeless exists, so this can too. Why not?
I'm going to show you what is a quick play spell. So the quick play spell is denoted by the lightning bolt symbol. The quick play spell sort of works probably most similarly to an instant in Magic. So similar to trap cards, quick play spells, if they're set face down for a turn, can be used during the opponent's turn as well. Quick play spells also can be activated from the hand, like an instant, in response to other things happening on the field. Or just in the game in general. They can be played like normal spell cards at sorcery speed if you want them to, but they're typically used more reactively.
Target 1 face-up monster on the field? Oh, okay. I think I see how to read it. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. Change that target to face-down defense position. I guess I have timing questions. The way I think of it in Magic is I'm in my first pre-combat main phase, and I'm like, I am going to combat, and somebody would play a spell like this, and now my creature that I plan to attack with cannot attack. Similar line of play to how it would go in Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's one application for this card, yes.
And everything's free.
You wanted to ask.
All right. there are probably cards that have effects when they are turned face up. Are there cards that have effects when they're turned face down?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, just give it time, I'm sure.
I was gonna say they have design space. They have design space.
All right, man. So I don't feel like I have a good grasp on when you would want and when and why you'd want a monster to be in a defense position. I guess. Okay. Can you do this? The opponent is attacking you, and you have an attack position monster. Can you target your attack position monster, turn it defense, and then... No, because you don't choose how to block. That's a Magic thing.
Well, you were right. I mean, if your opponent targets your monster for an attack, and you activate Book of Moon to flip your own monster face down, that's perfectly fine.
To use its defense stats instead. You could also target the opponent's monster because their defense stats are lower and then attack it.
There may be some other cards I showed you previously that this card might be applicable against.
Maybe. I'm just gonna go read all the cards you already showed me real fast. I mean, yeah, some of those are much lower defense, I suppose. Like, you're committing a card to a situational situation that I have a very hard time understanding how often the situation comes up. Like, that context is kind of missing for me. This feels closer to a combat trick in Magic, and combat tricks in Magic aren't good in Eternal formats because you would rather just have a card that immediately destroyed the problem that you have than a card that requires you to have another card to possibly solve a problem. So unless I'm missing something, I'm gonna say that this card is not good. It's tricky, but it's not good.
Now let me throw something your way. Why don't you go ahead and read Jinzo one more time?
As long as this card remains face up on the field, trap cards cannot be. So you can turn off certain effects, ongoing effects monsters have on the battlefield by turning them over. Is this a common line of text as long as this card is face up?
So if a monster has a continuous effect that is applying to the field, it only applies while that monster is face up.
Still, it seems like...
Don't sound convinced.
No, I'm not. So we come from a world where you can just steal your opponent's crap and then, use it to special summon something. All right, that's so much better than coming up with a little tricky way to make it less effective for a minute. I can see a lot of applications for the card. I'm just saying, Eternal format Yu-Gi-Oh! I think a lot of things will follow a path of we used this to do a thing back in the day, but now there is no way we can play it because there's just so many cards that have been introduced that probably do solve the problem easier. If this is an incredibly unique card, it requires an incredibly unique partner to make the effect worth it, because you're still looking at a 2-card combo, and without seeing the incredibly OP partner, like I was saying, a card that was turned face down just wins the game or something ridiculous like that, I gotta say that this is just a trick card and that it's not good.
Final answer.
Yeah, final answer.
I tried to help you out so much. The one time I wasn't deceiving you.
Oh, jeez.
Book of Moon is actually an incredibly good card.
Yeah?
It has even seen play as recently as this past year.
Oh,
I want to say.
Okay.
Which is incredible considering how old and how simple this card is. People, even though in terms of card advantage, it is like a -1, this is maybe one of the most versatile quick play spell cards of all time. And there's several reasons for that. To be fair, you don't fully know the game in its entirety, and so there are going to be some things that you're missing in that sense. But I tried to give you a few things here in this list of cards to help indicate what could be useful. So, turning off, you got the basic ones. In combat, it's a good combat trick to either get over something that's bigger or to protect your own thing potentially. If you have things that have flip effects, which I haven't really showed you, but there's plenty of those, to possibly get that to reflip. So let's say you flip it up during your turn, get the effect, your opponent attacks you on their turn. You can use the book to reset it and then it reflips so you can get the effect again. There's cool repeatability stuff like that. There's also the Jinzo, where any sort of continuous effect that's active on the field will just be turned off. So now all of a sudden your trap cards are able to be played again. There's also the instance of ignition effects. I believe in Magic they're sorcery speed effects. I haven't shown you any monsters with those types of effects. Opponent plays a monster and you use Book of Moon before they have the opportunity to use that ignition effect. Then they can't use the effect because now that monster is flipped face down and they can't flip it face up until the next turn. So that's an application application for it. Even with Snatch Steal, there's application with Book of Moon where you can snatch. You're gonna love this. You can snatch steal an opponent's monster, attack with it, let's say. Book of Moon to set it face down. The snatch steal falls off, but you get to keep the monster. So now it's permanently your monster. So that's another fun thing you can do with that. There's also just applications for other types of summons, which we're not going to get into for this video, that Book of Moon is very effective at stopping. And so, yeah, it's actually a very strong card. It was never banned. I believe it was limited for a very long time, and then it was at 3 probably midway through the game's lifespan. It's been at 3 ever since. But even to this day, it's still a very flexible and versatile card that people still look to it.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like I still have a lot to process about the, I guess, transforming in this. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I think when you come back to this after a few videos and you're like, I get it now. I get it. And plus, it just looks cool.
Sure.
It's a cool looking
Sure. Every video is a Book of Moon video. Got it.
All right. The final spell is what's known as a field spell. So a field spell is similar to a continuous spell where when you play it, it just stays active on the field. The difference is there's a dedicated zone, game mechanics wise. There's a dedicated zone for a field spell to stay out on the field until it gets sent to the graveyard by some card effect. The field spell typically has reciprocal effects. It'll say like whether or not it does, but most field spells, I want to say, typically more often than not can affect both players, which can be a benefit or a detriment depending on the card. Yeah, that's basically all you have to know about field spells.
Mausoleum of the Emperor. Both players can normal summon or set monsters without tributes by paying 1,000 life points times the number of monsters needed to tribute summon them. Both players can normal summon or set monsters without tributes by paying 1,000 life points times the number of monsters needed to tribute summon them. I'm having trouble with this.
So for context, we saw Jinzo earlier. If you have Mausoleum of the Emperor active, you can, instead of sacrificing a monster to summon the Jinzo, you can instead just pay 1,000 life points and just play the Jinzo out onto the field.
Okay, it's 1,000 life points per what you would have sacrificed, not for like level 6 isn't like 2,000. Yeah,
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So now if it was a level 7 or higher and needed 2 tributes, you'd have to pay 2,000 in order to summon that monster.
Yeah. Okay. Both players can do it. This is free because everything is. I mean, and you get 8,000 life. I bet that this is the kind of card that can enable turn 1 kills. No, wait, you don't get an attack. But does that matter? Maybe there's a way around that, even like a way to deal damage in a different way, or maybe just get an overpowering board state that you win anyway. If your life goes too low, though, the opponent can just play something and attack you back, and then you just die because they can go face, right? You unless of course you have the right trap. I don't know. God, I'm getting in the weeds now of like, okay, you do this and you do this and everything, you put this out. This is a way to cheat the cost of the more expensive monsters in the game, and Correct. You can build your deck around that effect. If you have 3 of these in a 40 card deck, I haven't asked you about a mulligan rule for Yu-Gi-Oh.
There's no mulligan.
Oh, you just get what you get.
If there was a mulligan in Yu-Gi-Oh, the game would be even more absurd than it already is.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. It would be insane.
Okay. I guess with no cost for anything, you don't have to worry about any hands that are unplayable.
I wouldn't say that, but we're not going to get into that today. We're not going to get into that today.
Man, you could build a deck that is like this card and the more really expensive cards, but I haven't seen that many of the really expensive or what might just be the total stats bait of the game. You know what I mean?
Do you want me to show you the stats bait? I'll show you the stats bait. Hold on.
Show me the stats bait, baby. Show me what Timmy looks at and is like, if I play this, I'm gonna demolish all of my friends. My friends are gonna die. Show me that.
You got it. Okay. I'm gonna show you the icon of Yu-Gi-Oh right here. This is the stats bait for you.
All right. Oh, bring it to me. Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh yeah. I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh. I have heard this. I've heard this said in the world. All right. Blue Eyes White Dragon is level 8. That's it. Okay, that's all like flavor text.
Yeah, I'm showing you the Timmy card. You want to see the Timmy card?
The attack is 3,000. I thought it would be like 8,000. Like they'd just be dead on the spot. This is the Timmy card?
Wait, our game isn't that crazy, CGB. Come on, give us some credit. You have to work for these wins.
In MTG, we've got like 16 power creatures and stuff, like, and life total is 20. Okay, this is 3,000 attack. I guess that's in that range. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. 3,000 attack is gonna be like, it's not even half your.
It's not even half.
It's not even half. It's like a 9/9, maybe. It's less than that, like an 8, between an 8 and a 9/9. That's your Timmy. Oh, this card is very pedestrian. Come to MTG. We have real Timmy cards. All right. Well, God, if that's all you're playing with this card, who cares?
Okay, fine. You want something? Here, I'll give you another Timmy card. How about this?
I feel like I'm being trolled. Blue Eyes White Dragon. Does that even win in episode 1? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Obelisk the Tormentor level. God.
It's 10. I'll save you.
Dude, it's a young man's game, all right? I can't be bothered to put that together. A Divine Beast effect. Attack is 4,000. Defense is 4,000. Requires 3 tributes. Holy crap. So that would be like 3,000 life with the card. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. Okay. Cards and effects cannot be activated. Neither player can target this card with card effects once per turn during the end phase. If this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. You contribute 2 monsters. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. This card cannot declare an attack the turn its effect is activated.
You wanted the Timmy cards. I busted them out.
Good God. What the hell is all this? You know, at first I read this Mausoleum of the Emperor, all right?
Okay.
And I was sure it was busted. I was sure there was going to be, like, just game over with this card. It's game over, man. And now you showed me the big Timmys, and I'm like, is that bad? Is it that bad? There's got to be... So this is going to be a really hard card to rate. It reads as it could both be busted depending on the cards that are available and like what you can do with them. If there are a bunch of cards that like you play it and it dies and you get this and that, because do I understand, like, you can play this, you can pay the life points to get around the tribute, but then you can still use the thing you paid as a tribute.
So if there's like some sort of effect that allowed you to, but this would count as your normal summon.
But yeah. So you need a special summon. Oh, okay. Maybe not so much, because I was thinking you play something.
I see what you're saying.
When it dies, you get a thing, and then it bring out something even bigger without paying the life. And yeah, it seems like a lot of combo potential. Now I'm a lot fuzzier on how busted this is, and giving it to the opponent can definitely be a dramatic downside. Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't tell how fast the game is, but the idea that you don't get to attack on turn 1, so if you place this on turn 1, you might just put yourself in a bad position. The opponent would, and they could just kill you. On the other hand, maybe just never place this on turn 1 if you go first. Maybe you just always like wait for a certain setup to place this and then go absolutely bonkers. The card has the makings of mana cheating, of spell cheating in a world where everything's free. There are very few costs in Yu-Gi-Oh! The ones there are, this says cheat those. Assume it's bad without a lot more context. If you showed me 1,000 cards that with this aren't that great, I would have to be like, okay, now I get why it's not that good. But without the context, I have to assume this card is playable. I have no idea, honestly, if it was banned. I really don't. I'll err on the side of no, so you can laugh at me and put me in the thumbnail looking shocked Pikachu face. But
I mean, I was doing that anyway.
Yeah. So let's say this card is good, not banned.
You're correct. I'll give it to you. So it's not banned. I wouldn't say this card is bad. So I obviously showed you the Timmy cards to sum it off with this. other cards that I'm not going to show you because I might show them to you in future videos that comboed with this card to cheat them out are much better payoffs for this type of cheating effect that make this card worth playing. But everything you said about the card is pretty on point. It's not good that your opponent also gets to do it, which may or may not matter depending on what they're playing. It's something you could possibly get the effect of and then remove it from the field. If you play a field spell over while you have an active field spell, it actually just destroys it. That's something that's unique about field spells.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's another mechanic there. For the most part, it's a very specific card that goes in a specific deck, and that's really all it is. I wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's just very specific to what your deck is trying to do, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I think it's a fine card. It's okay.
Yes. Good.
Good. Yeah, two left. And then we've covered every basic card type in Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're almost there.
Okay.
So similar to continuous spells, there are also continuous traps. So these still have to be set the turn that you play them face down. And then after which, during your opponent's turn or during your own turn, you can flip this up at any point and it stays active on the field. So give this one a read.
Robin Goblin. This is a trap card. A continuous trap card, you said? This is how it's called. Okay. It's a limited edition.
Oh, this version.
No, it can't be bad. They don't make limited edition the bad cards, I'm sure. They would never. Each time a monster you control inflicts battle damage, to your opponent discards one random card. And this is free.
I need to have a montage.
I know.
Is this free? Is this free? Is this free?
I'm sorry. We have to pay various forms of resources that we have to draw from our deck, put one into play at a time, or somehow come up with
So do
other
we.
cards to cheat. This is you just like I put it on the battlefield.
Yep.
We got you.
Hey, you have to set it for a turn first. You can't just activate it immediately.
With this, you can't.
Because it's a trap card. So trap cards, like I said, you have to play them face down for a turn. And then as soon as it's your opponent's turn, you can flip it up at any point after that.
This is busted. This is stupid busted. So a trap card, like they can't attack it. There might be cards that remove it, but generally speaking, you play a trap card, a face down card. The opponent
you can't attack it. Like I said,
destroy it.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is similar to like an enchantment in Magic.
All right.
Like you play it at instant speed and it just stays on the field until something interacts with it in some way or another.
It does nothing the turn you're on, like the turn you draw this. I like to look at these things like if I have this in my opening hand or I draw into it on turns 1 or 2, right? If I have this early, it does nothing that turn. But the next turn, your monsters can attack the turn you summon them. And you get one of those for free. And then there are other special summons and other things that you can do, including stealing your opponent's stuff, apparently. It is basically like a turn 2 game over if you hit your opponent with 2 or 3 monsters and they have to discard 2 or 3 cards at random. I can't imagine a card game, resource-based card game, where that's not absolutely devastating.
Now let me help you out here. Battle damage, even you take damage to your life points, which is battle damage, if one of your monsters gets destroyed by the opponents. It doesn't have to be a face hit direct.
Yeah, what? One of your monsters gets destroyed?
So if I take my 1800 attack Lodge in and I attack your attack position, which is the Black Forest, while I have Robin Goblin up. Yes, well, if it's in attack position. But yes, so that 700 damage will come out of your life points, which is battle damage, which does trigger Robin Goblin. So I don't have to attack you in the face.
You can be removing their stuff and hitting their hand and hitting their life total. This card's busted. This card's stupid. What are we doing here? Yeah, it's not turn 1 kill, but it's turn 2, like the game's effectively over. You discard 2 or 3 cards at random. Okay, it's my turn. I'll draw this card. Well, I'm like half the resources you do. Now that pot of greed isn't legal, how do I recover? I don't. This card is busted. This card got banned. Banned card.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Are you ready for me to blow your mind?
Always.
This card is bad. This card has never been banned, never been limited. In early Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe this card saw some play. That is it. Like, and not even like competitive play. Like, this is like a playground card at most. This card is not. I wouldn't say this is like the worst card in Yu-Gi-Oh. I would say it's like at best an average card. But this card was not the best thing you could be doing by a long shot. If that can just blow your mind. What? If that can blow your mind.
What the hell?
So I think The reason for that is that the individual power of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh is so high that a card like this, that as a flip it do nothing type of card, is just not good enough to play in, especially by modern standards. This card by modern standards is actually just unplayable. The only time you were playing this is like in the early days, and even then it still wasn't even played that much because it's just not that good of a card. There were going to be times that someone plays this card and they just get hand looped and just can't play the game. I'm not denying that, but that is by far and away the way that people played this game.
Especially after the pot of green thing, you said like getting a 2-for-1 is really hard, and this card is like just like it feels like even if the cards are really good, negating those cards is really good. Like taking those cards away seems really good.
I think part of the reason is that there is a good amount of strong removal in early Yu-Gi-Oh, both for monsters as well as spell and trap cards, and so I think that hindered how good this card potentially could be. Again, because you do have to actually hit with something for it to go through, or, you know, if there's some like weird combat stuff that happens. Again, I'm not saying it was impossible. If I showed you like the best 20 to 30 cards, which you've seen some of them already in old Yu-Gi-Oh, and you kind of saw the caliber of what Robin Goblin has to like stand up to, it's not even close. It's night and day. Which is crazy because you would think this card's nuts. You would think this card's crazy.
Wow.
There's also
this card seems like such a nightmare.
We haven't shown you there are also plenty of cards that revive stuff from the graveyard as well, and so that sometimes was a detriment playing Robin Goblin, because it's like, oh, you got their Jinzo into the graveyard and now you can resurrect your Jinzo, and now like, you know, you're just like gonna get the game completely turned on you. So like there's instances where that could happen as well.
You know what I think? You know what my honest opinion? You guys just haven't figured out the game yet.
You know, you might be right. I think maybe as children we just didn't realize how good this card truly was.
Yep,
truly.
And you still don't know. You know, someday you'll actually bust your game.
Final card, CGB, final card. And you'll be happy to know, I can't believe I'm going to say this, this card has a cost. You're not going to believe it.
Okay. Pick myself up, dust myself off. Solemn Judgment is a trap card. Have I seen that arrow before?
You haven't. I'll get into it after you.
Okay. When a monster would be summoned or a spell trap card is activated, pay half your life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card.
So what that symbol is in the top right, that is called the counter trap symbol. Trap cards are already kind of like counters in a way in Yu-Gi-Oh, but the counter trap symbol the counter trap symbol means that in terms of when cards can be activated, whether it's like at sorcery speed, instant speed, things like that, a counter trap is a speed higher than an instant card, or like a normal trap card, if you will.
Oh, good.
This means that once Solemn Judgment is activated, the only card that can be activated after it in a chain, your equivalent of the stack, the only card that can be activated after it is another counter trap. No other normal traps or instant speed effects can be used after Solemn Judgment.
No problem. We in Magic we have Split Second, which is close to that, but Interrupt is a very, very old Magic word that they stopped making, but the idea was the same.
There's a cost. You should be happy.
I'm a blue
trade-offs.
I am a blue mage, and I love countering things so much. When a monster would be summoned or a trap card is activated, pay half your life points and negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card.
The wording might be a little bit suspicious to you, so let me clarify one interesting thing that might help you evaluate this card. It says when a monster would be summoned. I'm not sure how this works in Magic, but in Yu-Gi-Oh, before a monster officially hits the field, there's like a window to counter the summon, where it's sort of like in Purgatory, where it never actually touches the field. So for instance, if you were to go sacrifice a monster to summon Jinzo, Jinzo says it negates all traps while it's active. Solemn Judgment can be used to counter the summon of Jinzo because it's countering the summon and it hasn't touched the field, so it's not currently negating the effects of trap cards yet, if that makes sense.
Okay, I think. All right. I mean, it sounds to me like you basically counter a monster spell, or when a trap card is being flipped, you counter the effect that it would have and then destroy the trap card. That's what I'm getting here. That's what I'm getting here.
That's what the card says.
Do you play this face down, or do you just play this at any time from your hand?
So you have to play it face down for the turn you first play it. And then at any point after your turn ends, during your turn or your opponent's, like any trap card, you can activate this in response to something happening that meets this condition.
Seems like the kind of... It's the counterplay that I guess you want to exist because there's a cost, and it's a pretty steep cost. I don't know if there are a lot of other cards in the game that just... you know, you do this thing, you shut that down, you know? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like there are various ways to like punish various types of effects, like the trap card that you showed me earlier, but just, okay, you do this thing, I stop that thing. Right. So if the opponents are chaining off, if they're comboing, if they're just trying to take big powerful actions and you negate the biggest, most powerful action, or if their trap card was designed to stop your powerful action, this protects it, you get it through and you win the game. I feel like I still need to understand like how a game of Yu-Gi-Oh normally ends. Is it like, and if it is just creatures attacking you down and your life total is a serious resource, and I'm not asking you to answer this, by the way. I am just talking out loud. If your life total, if being attacked down is a normal way that a game of Yu-Gi-Oh ends, your life total is a very serious resource and you have to be careful with it. That said, the lower your life total gets, you get into like the stages of the game where you're both going for the win. Half your life isn't as much as it is earlier in the game, which is probably when you want to use this. Like, I think a bad player uses this on the first possible thing they see, and a good player uses this at the last possible moment. And those kind of things make for good card games. And then there's the other side of it, whereas like if a common game of Yu-Gi-Oh ends with some kind of a combo being achieved that doesn't involve a lot of attacking and using life total, this card is even better because that means all the actions on the stack, and this is a card that gets on the stack and does things that help you win the game. So my take on this card is that it's very good.
Okay.
The only way it's not is if a game of Yu-Gi-Oh usually goes in such a way that the life total is under so much pressure that there's never a time to cast this. But I don't see it. I still think that like you play this very late in the game and it's only costing you like a few hundred health points instead of thousands, and it's a good card. And it's probably the kind of counterplay that a card game needs to have longevity, and which Yu-Gi-Oh apparently has, 25 years, right? So I mean, without full context of a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, having ever watched or played a whole game of Yu-Gi-Oh, this card strikes me as a good card, but not something that would need to be banned. It feels like an important part of the game. For free, yes. That's the
instant speed. Yes. Instant speed, pay half your life, negate basically everything.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. I'm just curious.
100% I would play this in Magic.
Would that be banned? Would that be banned?
At some point, yes.
Okay. I'm just curious. So, you ready for me to blow your mind?
Always.
Solemn Judgment, at the current moment, Solemn Judgment is playable at 3 copies.
Yep. Okay. I accept.
But
nobody plays it.
In early Yu-Gi-Oh, Solemn Judgment was an incredibly strong card for all the reasons that you mentioned. You hit the nail right on the head. I don't really have to say anything else because you put it so eloquent. It's your oh shit button. It's your answer to either get out of a situation where you might lose the game, or it's a way to close out the game where you're going to win. And it's been incredibly powerful. By modern standards, it's still a good card. It still sees play, but it is not good enough that it warrants needing to be banned or even limited. It being at 3 copies is perfectly acceptable. That's just the way the game's evolved, though. But it was banned, actually. But it's a very strong card. It was banned early on.
Wow.
And I remember when this card first came off the ban list, we were all kind of losing our minds because we're like, this card's cracked. This card is so strong, and it was still good, like it was fine, and then they put it to 3 copies and we're like, oh shit, now it's really over, and it was fine. It's like I said, it's a perfectly fine card.
So I'm kind of wrong because it was banned, and I'm kind of wrong because it's
But you're
not
right that it
good
was good.
anymore, but I'm kind of right that it was good. Got it.
No, it's still good. It's just basically the way people use this card now is in their sideboards for games 2 and 3. If they know they're going first, they might side in Solemn Judgment to make sure that their first turn plays are protected by what their opponent might do on the next turn. That's the way this card is used now. Where before, every deck would just play this card at maximum copies because it was just pay half your life to stop anything.
How many cards are in a side deck?
15.
Very Magic-ish. Okay.
So they would play, they know they're going first. They're going to play 3 copies of Judgment. They're going to do their first turn play and then set, if they draw any copies of it, set it. And now their board is protected, essentially. And that's good enough sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, cool card.
Yeah.
I feel good
Solid
about
card.
that one. I feel good about that one.
Yeah, you got that one. You got one, like, aside from the fact that you didn't get it was banned, technically it's not banned now, but it was banned early on just because it was too good.
Busted in Magic for sure.
This was your first foray into Yu-Gi-Oh! What are your closing thoughts here?
You guys are insane. I can't get past no cost. The for free is, you can tell, like anything in Magic that's for free gets like a long look. Everything's free here. It's really screwing with my brain. It's 100%
What if I told
messing up
you?
my head.
What if I told you we haven't even scraped the surface of how crazy some cards are when it comes to the fact that they're free? CGB, welcome back to the channel. Once again, you have been such a treat, and the Yu-Gi-Oh community has welcomed you with open arms. I think they're really trying to convert you to play our game at the end of it all. So how are you feeling about Yu-Gi-Oh so far?
Well, you know what another word for a treat is? A snack. And I haven't been called a snack in a while, so I'm feeling great today.
So today we have, I think you're going to feel right at home in today's video. So from you and I, the short time that we've known one another, I've gotten to learn a lot about you. And I've learned that you really love your toxic cards. I know you love toying with the opponent. You love seeing them miserable. And so today I am going to be showing you some of Yu-Gi-Oh's most toxic cards, or not. I might be messing with you. There might be a few things in here to throw you off. And your goal today is to evaluate the card, of course, but also to determine at any point if these cards ever saw time on the ban list. What do you think about that?
I think that you're taking your best shot at converting me, and I'll tell you, it probably won't work, but I'm open-minded.
Well, we'll see what happens when I show you your first card. Give this one a read.
Vengeful Bog Spirit. This is a Magic card. I can't every time I read it. Okay. It's a Magic card, and it says, all monsters on the field cannot attack in the same turn that they are summoned. Includes flip summon and special summon.
It's Summoning Sickness. You know Summoning Sickness.
I was gonna say, isn't this just good, honest card gaming? Do people get upset about this? Okay, that
Well, you have to
chuckle.
think by Yu-Gi-Oh standards. Remember, Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have Summoning Sickness, right? So if you take the expectation that players understand a game, and now you say all of a sudden, you can't just go face with everything, just, you know, wham, bam, I'm going to win the game immediately, and we have to actually play a game. Is that toxic, you know, by Yu-Gi-Oh player standards? You tell us. You tell us.
There's something I know about human beings. It's that when you give them something and then take it away, they are so much angrier than if they never had it in the first place. This reads like an absolute nothing to me, but I bet to Yu-Gi-Oh players this is hell on earth. Like, why would you do this? Who would do such a thing? And this is free?
It is. It's free. It's free.
All right, all right.
Free.
So help me out here. Can I play my thing, punch the opponent, and then play this thing?
Does it say you can't?
No. Oh, so
Does it say you can't?
no. Can I play my thing, punch the opponent, and then play this thing?
Does it say you can't?
No.
Okay. 244. Mm-hmm. Nice cat. Plant life. I'm not sure the plant life is not that good. Really annoying. 100 once again. Level 25.
Oh, it's so rude. Oh, ooh. See, but there's nothing wrong with making people actually have to plot their plays for a turn before get their punchies. There's nothing wrong with that. I play a game where that's normal. That we're just feeling each other out, getting to know each other, spending quality time together, understanding what each other's decks do so we can make strategical decisions. Did this have to be banned? Oh, man.
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, man. So I've got to figure out how good this is. Like,
what about the reverse? Like, how good is haste in Magic? Right? That's just like the opposite.
Good. Haste is grossly good. Okay. It's a grossly good effect. Absolutely. Haste is a banger ability, but aggro mages use it, so I hate it. But would I play an enchantment that, like, say that, okay, mono red is a deck in Magic, very aggressive. It's the most aggressive deck in the format. And every creature they played in the last format before rotation, the latest one, had haste. Every creature. Would I play a card? Would I use a slot in my deck to play a card that took away their haste? So does that apply to Yu-Gi-Oh?
One thing you're overlooking, it's free.
God, it is free. So I think what makes me the most bullish on this card, what makes me think this card is really good, is the pattern of I play my critter, maybe I'm a total badass and I special summon something, I go punch your face really good, then I play this. Now you were reliant on your creature to smash into my creature, but now you don't have that option, so you play your dork, you look at your hand as 2 other creatures and some irrelevant spell, and you pass, and then I get to smash with my creature again before it would normally be already dead or something like that. I'm not sure how common of a pattern that is. I'm not sure how many. I mean, I've seen some of the trap cards and things that do catch creatures. This doesn't really do anything about that. This is really tough because it does feel like it fundamentally takes away something core in the game. So I'm sure it upsets people. I have trouble understanding if it would need to be banned, because to me it does not. To me, I've dealt with a lot of stacks pieces, like creatures enter the battlefield tapped. There's one called Blind Obedience that's really good that we play in Commander. So oh god, I'm going to say people hate this card, but did it need to be banned? If you could have 3 of these and then you can play it over and over, maybe if there was a way to if there's a way to like pick it up or destroy it on your turn, do the thing, smash, play it again. No, it's getting too Disneyland. Look, you're gonna tell me this was banned and that I'm absolutely insane. I'm gonna say this wasn't banned.
Final answer.
Yeah, final answer.
Well, you are correct. This card has never been banned. In fact, Vengeful Bog Spirit sucks. This card is terrible. I don't want to say it's terrible. In early Yu-Gi-Oh, this is an old card, hence why it says Magic card still before they had to get in the lawsuit. But it is a card that, in the early days, if you were playing a slow control deck, maybe a burn deck even, that didn't even care about having monsters on the field, Vengeful Bog Spirit may have been a card very early on that people looked to potentially slow the game down enough so that people just can't play a bunch of cards and just kill them, so that way they have enough time to draw the game out long enough so that they can burn them to death, or, you know, establish whatever win condition that it is. Aside from extremely early on in Yu-Gi-Oh's lifespan, this card has basically never seen play, and it's absolutely terrible. So you almost talked yourself into thinking this card is good. So that was very funny. I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. All right, so I started you off easy.
That's a close one. Okay.
Let's see what you think about this card.
Dimension Shifter. Whoa. It's must have been pretty cool in the anime when this showed up. Okay. Level 6 monster with 1200 attack and 2200 defense. Big booty. If you have no cards in your graveyard, you get a quick effect, which is you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and until the end of your next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead.
So for some context here, what quick effect means is it's an effect that you can use at instant speed at any point, as long as you have the ability or the window to be able to do that.
Okay. And banished is exiled?
Correct.
Okay. Just gone, cannot come back. Have they messed with that? Can things come back, actually?
Yeah, things can come back from exile,
they can't
although
help
it is
themselves. They can't.
They can't.
Just have us tear it into little pieces, then it can't come back. That's what it's gonna take. Anyway. Okay. Focus. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard if you have no cards in your graveyard, and then until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. How good is that?
Is there anything like this in Magic? Any analogs?
Yeah, there's plenty of... There's nothing that I can think of where it's like if you have no other cards in your hand except for this. Or no, it's no cards in the graveyard. Yeah, I can't think of a card that's like if you have no graveyard, play this for free. But, I mean, it's not even playing it for free. It's sending it... It's discarding it to get an effect Until the end of the next turn. Okay, till the end of the opponent's turn. So no, not really. The closest I can come up with is like an enchantment that you can play for free if it's in your opening hand, and any cards that go to the graveyard during the game get banished.
Oh, because it stays in play.
Because it stays on the field, which I guess sounds potentially better than this, but it also means like maybe like sometimes you want access to a graveyard later. I think it's only the opponent's graveyard too. I'm thinking of Leyline of the Void if editor or you want to put it on screen. I think that's the closest thing I've got here. That card definitely has a role. That card is very good and very important in older formats, and the reason is because in older formats, the amount of synergies they've printed of things that like get free value out of their graveyard is insane. And it's the only way to stop these degenerate monsters who just want to fiddle with their graveyard at every tournament. You've given me a few hints. We've definitely talked about the graveyard is a resource in the past video. I caught that. I remember that, although I haven't seen a lot of examples. It's also an eternal format. It doesn't rotate. And that is, eternal formats are where Leyline of the Void and Graveyard Hate, as they say, is really important in Magic. So if those parallels exist, this card seems potentially important. If the opponent is using any kind of a graveyard combo to gain an overwhelming advantage or TKO the opponent, this buys you a turn. It's narrow, but with everything being free, you should be able to get this effect, right? You just play out your thing, play out your thing, play out your thing, play out your thing, discard this. Now you don't get access to your graveyard for a turn, so I'm probably going to get another chance to kill you if your deck relied on that. Did this have to be... So it seems like a limited use... It seems like another kind of check on the format, although I honestly don't know how powerful what I'm talking about is. So that's going to be a big factor here that I don't understand. So when evaluating this, it seems like an important check, an important safety measure to make sure that they can print absolutely busted graveyard stuff, and there's still the potential for you to run Dimension Shifter and get them. Did it ever have to be banned? I think it would be so weird if a card like this had to be banned. This is the kind of card that keeps up.
All right. I'm still not sure what to do with one of the things. And another one. Okay, I'm not sure what to do with the Duolingo. Alright, that's going to be it for this stream. Good luck, fun, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.